Hello, theme park enthusiasts, and welcome back to Virtual Towers Online. So, in the last episode, we went ahead and covered the update of the shooting gallery, and since then, I have had it confirmed that that is sort of like a almost preview of the haunted house attraction, the dual haunted house, that will, at a point, come into the game. Now, they are still working diligently on that, and so it's not here yet. That's perfectly fine as far as I'm concerned. As I said, I'm happy to be waiting for these things because it's worth it. It really is to me. I'd rather wait and have them do the phenomenal job that they've been doing on all this stuff, and then in the future go ahead and have that experience. Since then, I was able to see that they also have updated the game again with even more content that is now out. There are some mazes to explore here in the park. Now this one I think is going to be a bit trickier for me overall. Let's go ahead and purchase a ticket. And I'm going to try to figure out how exactly this works. Might take me a little bit here because for one, we have to locate these mazes. And I'm not exactly sure where that's going to be. So, we have a preview center here. Nothing in there right now. There's something about that you can select which maze is available. So that's why I'm sort of looking around right now just to see if I can figure out where that's supposed to be located. Oh, there's some ladies' rooms and men's rooms over here. That's a nice thing. Definitely at the beginning of the park, I know I definitely need them at points in time because you've been waiting outside or you've driven to the park. Oh, wow. All right, so they have updated it with some Halloween stuff right now for the Scaremazes. So we have these skeletons here and the pumpkin here. I wonder if this is going to be set up basically how it is for their Halloween nights. Nothing on the screen there for the skeleton, but that is a nice little selfie spot there. All right, so we're going to have a lot to look at regardless of other things. Free cash machines. As I said, I am sort of looking around trying to figure out where it is that I need to go. Oh, wow. In order to get to the Scaremazes. I know I heard something, or I read something about the bunker, and I believe I know which one the bunker is. But as I said, and I've said in my other videos, I am not familiar with Alton Towers as much as I would like to be. Alright, no apology needed there. Very happy that they've got all the little details they do in. Oh, we got the pumpkins here in the pond with the frogs. That is awesome. We will take a look at this stuff. Oh, and the tombstones here. We will take a look at all these areas where they have added the Halloween theming in the dark as well, so that we can sort of enjoy them. I'm just wanting to make sure if I need to go into a building here or anything. I'm sort of getting close enough to things. Alton Towers Resort. Just to basically see if Resort box office. Maybe this might be where it would be. Ah, choose and select your scare maze in the box. Here we are. So this is where you got to go. So if you're coming from the front, there's the giant pumpkin right as you enter, and it's going to be on the right-hand side down here. Now that we know that that's the situation, let's take a look at this area here and stuff, see these different things. So cool here. I mean, I'm playing this right now, and it is in March. I'm going to release the video today as soon as I get it done. So if you're watching it at the time, it is March if you're watching it later. But yeah, Halloween's one of my favorite holidays, so I am always happy for some Halloween theming. This all is very cool to me to get to see this. Now, as I said, I know in some years they've actually done like an entire area here on the front lawn. I would say this is actually probably more realistic towards this year because of the fact that I do not believe they are doing an area on the lawn this year. Sadly, I was watching Theme Park Worldwide's video covering the opening of Toxicator, which I'll talk about a little bit when we get to that area. And from at least his experience, it sounds like the opening of the park this year hasn't been the greatest. Sort of sad that way. Oh, here's one of the scare mazes, evidently.
Move along.
You talk!
Move along.
That is awesome. So the phalanx here, this maze is only playable at night. Ooh, good to know. All right, so we will have to turn it to night without a question. Here we got the phalanx symbol here. So, ooh, it's the Hive. All right, good to know. But the phalanx are basically sort of like a government agency that's dealing with the creature that is Nemesis over there. So it's all part of the storyline they have in the game. Really awesome. I also did read that the Pinball Wizard area has sort of a lighting package or something going on right now that's unique over there, so we will have to go check that out at night as well. Let's see what we got here. Alright. So we've got Maze Entrance 1 here. Alright, 1,000,000 apologies due to demand. Only nighttime scare maze tickets are available at this time. That's perfectly fine by me. I do want to take a walk around the park. Alright, so this is Scare Maze 1 entrance. So we've got that. But I do want to take a walk around the park here real fast. We'll probably turn it to nighttime when we get over by the Pinball Wizard. So that way we can sort of see if there's the lighting situation over there, but I want to see if there's other Halloween decorations around the park here. As I said, I love the fact that the scare mazes are here. I wonder if they're going to be sort of a permanent fixture, or they're going to remove them at a point, or if it's going to be something where you can turn them on and off using maybe that ticket office that I just was in there. 11/10/21. New 2024, the Hive, returning Hazard. Patreon only. So this was for Patreons, and now it has become live so everybody can enjoy it. So again, I highly recommend people try out this game. It is so much fun. As I said, it really is, it's working hard to become my favorite game, pretty much, period. So yeah, I am looking forward to this. For one, this is yet another area with the Hive and such, or the scare mazes. Alright, so here we go. We have the summer spinball. After the lights come on, the real party starts. Visit spinball area after dark for a party like nothing you have experienced, unless you did it last year. That's cute. Alright, so just giving you an idea of how it looks now, we're going to go ahead and head over to the lawn here a little bit to turn our back on the area, and then we will go ahead and adjust the lighting and then take a look over there again. So let's go ahead and put it at dark. Alright. As I said, we'll look at the entire park in the dark at a point here. But this one was sort of unique. Oh yeah, it is very unique. Wonder how the lighting is while you're on the ride. I think we'll go ahead and find that out real fast and take a quick ride on this. This could be a longer video here today. Hope you don't mind, but I'm really excited for all these updates. As I said, pretty much every game I try to cover updates when they come out. This one came out a couple days ago, and I do apologize for being a bit tardy to it. But if you've been watching my channel, there are 2 brand new games that I've been... Ooh! Alright, so we have Avril Lavigne playing. There we go. So we've got some Avril Lavigne music playing right now. I may have to block this on the video just for copyright on YouTube. If I can leave it though, because it is a slightly different version of the song, I will leave it because it is sort of a cool thing and it adds to the entire area. If though when you're listening to this all you hear is my voice, then I would definitely recommend playing this yourself to get the experience, because it does add to it. Look at all the lighting. That is so cool. I love the lighting. Oh, that is so neat. Yeah, the lighting adds to it so much. It just gives it sort of a magical quality. It's one that I always love theme parks in the dark, and I really love the fact that on this game they allowed you to decide to be in the dark on the game. Because, yeah, especially some of the times when I've been playing this sort of off camera, I have been in the dark because I really enjoy just the way a park feels in that darkness. And just having the music pumping here and stuff, it really adds to this ride. It really feels sort of like a dance club. I love it.
Whoa, what a ride! When we get to the station, please exit on the right-hand side. Thank you for riding on the Spinball Wizard. Woohoo!
Yeah, I will say, I highly recommend that you try that out. That was awesome. Now let's see how quickly this sort of changes when I put it back to daylight. There we go. Sort of neat how that works. Let's go ahead and do live weather so we can sort of see how it is there. But yeah, so as I said, it's one of those, hopefully I'll be able to leave the music in there. It is an Avril Lavigne song, one of her original ones there, and yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the song as it is, so I enjoyed it. But if I'm not able to leave it in the video, definitely, as I said, I really recommend picking this up. It is free to play on Steam, so there's no real reason not to. You can explore all these things yourself, and you can enjoy them some. We got this lighting down this way. Not sure I've actually ever walked down this way before, at least on camera. So that's sort of a new thing for the video here. Sort of just exploring all the different areas here a little bit, seeing if there's any Halloween theming or anything that we can see. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the park in person. I've seen in videos and stuff with some of the Scaremazes, but again, sometimes on videos, it's really hard to know where certain things are located. And like I said, this is going to be a longer video. I am definitely being honest about that. We got the games bunker here. I don't know if that's the bunker they were referring to. It's not the one I had in mind that I think they're referring to. So we're gonna walk the entire park in the daylight here, so we can sort of see any of the theming that there might be around the park in the daytime, and then we will come back through again in the nighttime to see anything that's different in the night. And then we will, of course, try out the Scaremazes. I have really no idea what to expect with the Scaremazes, as I started saying earlier, because those are one of those things you really don't get to see on YouTube. I'm assuming probably at least one, probably the Hive one that we saw there, is going to be oriented on the Phalanx sort of storyline, but I really don't know. I've been to a couple Scaremazes, say at Six Flags and such, and I've enjoyed them to no end and such. I wonder almost also, might they have scare zones set up in the game? Now, I can understand. I was shocked that the one person there talked to me in the first place. So, I would be sort of surprised if there's scare zones in the game right now, because that would be a lot of extra work there. Oh, I hadn't noticed this before, but I do love that. They got the little test seat here outside of Oblivion. Very realistic in that. If you've ever been to a theme park and such with the major coasters, they always do have those test seats. So that way people can sort of see how comfortably they can sit in the seats. For myself, I'm 6'2", and I am on the heavier side myself. I will admit it. And so with that, those test seats are important for me, because there are times with certain rides that just weight-wise, I'm just a bit too fat to be on them, sadly. Trying to lose some weight because I want to change that. I'll be curious when I can go down those paths and stuff, and we definitely will cover that when we're able to in the future. But yeah, sometimes I'm just a bit too big for a ride in that way. And then where I'm usually apprehensive about wooden coasters, and I sort of did mention it with Wicker Man here, I struggle with wooden coasters oftentimes because a lot of the cars are sort of older, and so somebody who is 6'2", such as myself, can't wait to go that direction as well. But somebody like myself who is 6'2", my knees basically touch the front of the car, and especially on a wooden coaster, if you've ever had the experience on them, your knees will sometimes whack against the front of the car, which is not a pleasant experience. Now, I believe, and I could be wrong, this is just what I believe, I do believe this area here in some years has led to a scare maze that is inside the tower. Now, as far as I understand it from what I read, I believe the scare mazes here might not be located where they are. Like, I wouldn't go to that door to get into the tower scare maze because of the fact that it just was easier, probably. I'm assuming, I'm making an assumption here, so I could entirely be wrong, but I'm assuming it would be easier as far as the coding and stuff to just have them originate from the one area. I believe what they've done is the ticket office gets you to at least one of the scare mazes, and then the kind of see if there's anything here in the towers as well. But then the other one is where we sort of saw it over there, where it's just sort of off to the side of the tower entrance. And that one's probably located where it's supposed to be there. The other one is not. As I said, I'm just sort of taking a look around, seeing if I see anything. So when I was explaining Hex in the video for Hex, this is exactly what I was talking about here. We can see in this model exactly what goes on with the room. Oh, there is a button here too. And so you can see it here. So the seats themselves are sort of stationary. But what's happening is the entire room is sort of this large drum. And so what happens is the seats tilt slightly, but not nearly as much as the room does. And the room overall on Hex spins around. Now when you're in it, as you sort of were... Now see here you can sort of see. The seats will swing slightly. So you are moving some, but you are not going upside down in the seats. But the room itself here will spin all the way over. So that's sort of how this type of ride works. It's very interesting to me, and I absolutely love the fact that there's this model here. I visited this room before. I don't remember seeing this model here. That could have just been on me. I might have just simply missed it when I was here the last time. I love the fact that it's a working model, though. Makes it so much easier to explain how Hex works overall, because it is really a tough concept to grasp here. Now you can sort of see this is in balance here, this white line that I'm sort of highlighting. So when the seats get out of line with this, you know they're swinging some. But otherwise what's happening is the room itself. So like right now the seats are out of line, so they've swung a bit, but the actual room has spun an entire 360 right there. So visually it's going to look like you're actually moving a lot more than you truly are. So in the Hex video, if you want, go back and rewatch that one. I believe that one's now live on my channel, if I'm not mistaken. So you can see it. But, yeah, you can go back in and sort of understand how this ride exactly works now. I tried to explain it in that video, but the visual aid here, I think, works perfectly for it. Really great job. As I said, I love the fact that they added in little details like that. That kind of thing just makes this incredible, in my opinion. As I said, this game really is just amazing. I can't praise it enough for what it is. Sure, there are things that I'm so looking forward to them adding, and they have given sort of little updates on certain things, such as that they are working on the next location there, which is going to have Rita in it and such. It's not finished yet. From what I've read on their Facebook page, this is a very small team that all have actual jobs on top of doing this. Not that this is not a job. This is really a full-on job. And I will say probably better than a lot of the studios who actually the people get paid for a living to do it. I'm sort of looking at EA and such for that. They have not done products of this quality in a while themselves. But these guys have jobs outside of this game, and yet they're still putting in this kind of effort in making something this amazing. Now, I didn't just stop here for a moment just because I enjoy the view. I wanted to point out, if you watch my update for Supermarket Simulator. I commented on the water on Supermarket Simulator, and I did sort of make a comment that it sort of seemed a little bit cheap and a little bit off. I liked the update that they had in that game overall. Don't get me wrong. Uh, I was not lying when I said that I enjoyed what they had put into the game. But I will say, look at the difference here in this water that they've put into this game. You can see the droplets coming here. You can really see the different water droplets up at the top. That's how water should look, and it really looks fantastic here. As I said, these guys have just done such an amazing job. And I do say guys, I apologize if there are females on the team and such like that. I really don't know who all is on the team. Um, for me, saying you guys is just a saying that I grew up with as a child, and I still say. Um, Sometimes even when I was teaching a few years ago, I would say you guys, and I was talking to an entire group of girls. And most of my students would understand. I was not being sexist in any way. It was just growing up where I did. That was sort of the way we talked. So, yeah. As I said, not meaning anything insincere about it by saying the guys, but here again, look at the difference in the water quality. It just looks real. I love the fact that there's even some like foam in the water down there, which if you've been once again near a fountain of this type, you definitely know there does get that foam sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't even smell the most pleasant because it's got those pieces to it and such. All right. I had not looked over this way before. I have a feeling, and I could be wrong. Once again, I am not familiar with the park overall, but I have a feeling this is another area of the park. The name of the area escapes my mind right now. I want to say the Magical World of David Williams, but I could be entirely wrong with that. But this, I believe, is where you're going to be able to get to that location as well. So cool to see that off in the distance there. Going to take a walk along this area here, see what we can see a little bit more. As I said, this video going to be longer. I acknowledge that. I apologize if that's something you're not into. But especially when it comes to this game, I geek out over all this stuff. I fully admit it. This, to me, is so much fun. I love it. It's absolutely the way that I love a game being. So, yeah, I do geek out. I hope that you accept my apologies for geeking out. And then here we have, I've never come down this way before in video, but I did want to show you that we have the Dark Forest is this area here with, as I said before, Rita and such. You can sort of see the curve of Rita there. Now, Rita is a launch coaster. You can see, if I can get it back in line here real fast. Yeah, you can see sort of through the slat there, the red and green lights there. It almost takes off like sort of a drag car type of thing where the lights will turn green and then it's going to launch you forward. Not an overly thrilling coaster. I mean, I'm not saying that in a negative way at all, but I will say that it's not one that it's like you have to feel terrified of out of your mind on to be riding that one, which I think is a good thing. I don't think every coaster has to be absolutely terrifying for the riders. But yeah, look forward to riding Rita when I can in the future. Their update did talk about the fact that they have been working on Air, so it does sound like Air might be the next major addition to the game. I could be reading into that way more than I should be, but they did say there's still quite a bit to be done on that. And again, I completely understand, and I'm happy to wait. I'm more than willing to wait. Quite frankly, the fact that we're getting more stuff like this coming in as quickly as we have been here since I've at least started playing the game is sort of mind-blowing to me. It seems like they've been updating the game so much lately, and that's great. I'm loving all these new details and everything. Ooh. I don't think I've been down that way. I'm going to see if I can go down that way. So yeah, haven't seen any more Halloween decorations, and as I said, I don't really know much about the way the park is set up for Halloween. It very well might be that pretty much all their decorations for the most part are up at the front, and then they just simply have the scare mazes and the scare zones in other parts of the park. That could be the entire case. I don't really know on that. Oh, it doesn't look like we can go into this area yet. And I do feel fairly confident in saying yet, because pretty much wherever I see barricades like this and stuff, I do feel like the barricades are there as sort of a not yet, but in the future you will be able to kind of thing. Can I jump this fence? Can I be the rude customer? Yes, I can. All right. You should not do that at a park. Don't walk on the grass and stuff. That's just rude. But yeah, I have a feeling now that I get... Oh, yeah. You can see this one little... I'm going to call it a pagoda there. It's not a pagoda, but that's the best word my brain at this time can come up with. But I think this is going to be the gardens area, which also, like, for Christmas time and stuff like that, I know they do some lighting over there and such. Wow, this is a beautiful view, too. It's the thing about this part that just strikes me is, like, you have things that this could be a themed wall, but I have a feeling like it's not. I have a feeling that at least some of it is probably very old, much older than I am, possibly much older than my country is, even, for all I know. And I love that. I love this sense of history that this place has. It is so unique and so different from any theme park that I get to go to here in the United States because of that. I absolutely love it. It is such a cool experience. So here we are over by the basically Super Soaker style water ride over here in Mutiny Bay. As I said, this one, I don't know how it'll work in the game too much because of I mean, unless, you know, they have the talking figures over there. It is possible they could put in some NPCs that could have you shoot against each other and everything like that. I'm curious where all these paths will lead. But definitely in the future, there's going to be videos here of me just exploring this place over and over again as they add more, because I'm curious where everything leads and seeing all the differences. It's like I mean, I know this video is going to be long, and it's partially because I don't want to miss a single thing if I can help it. If something has updated or changed or just gotten a little bit of theming, I want to make sure I see it personally. Not to be mean to you guys, but this is as much about for me as it is for you guys, I will be honest. And that's always been a part of my channel. I play games and I do things in games for myself as well. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. And with this game, seeing everything, coming by Wicker Man here just to see it up close, even though I don't need to because I'm not going to ride it in this episode, it's still so neat to see and so just mind-blowingly cool. So, had to come up there and see it. Let's take a walk around toward the back of the park here. And then we will probably, as far as at least that I have seen, I think the only way sort of back from this area of the park is either back down this road or riding the chairlift, the sky ride, back around. I could be wrong. Like I said, it is sort of an interesting thing here. I mean, then we have things like this of what's down there. I don't know. Definitely there's something, and I have a feeling, you know, they put in, they've even sort of acknowledged in some of their Facebook posts, when they have little gaps in the fence or little squares like this, it's there for a reason almost. They want you sort of peeking through. They want you to be able to see what they're working on and such, and I love that. I love that they want the fans to be excited for what's coming in the future. I think parks should do that more overall. I mean, I will say without a question, I'm excited for the future. I want to see what's coming. I'm beyond curious. And it's the same way when I'm at a park. Perfect example was Six Flags San Antonio. A couple years ago, they were putting in their water coaster, which I have to say, after it was made, really was a bit of a disappointment, the water coaster. Not this park, definitely. Very happy with this. But the water coaster did not live up to the expectations I sort of had for it almost. And, but while it was being constructed, they had fencing that, see if I can find some fencing that was about as tall. Over here it looks like pretty much about the right height compared to myself. So yeah, the fencing would be, I'd say, maybe slightly shorter than this, but roughly this height. And so I'd be there looking through the little cracks like right there. I'd be trying to jump up and see over. And I also, of course, had my cell phone I mean, I'm curious right there where we can see through right there. But I had my cell phone with me, and so I would have the cell phone and I would go ahead and lift it so that I could sort of look over the fencing and then I'd look at the video and such. So I think for a lot of us, I mean, I'm hoping I'm not just some weirdo that's the only person that ever does that. But I'm guessing that a lot of people are that exact same way. I love this here where you have the monorail, the water ride, and the roller coaster all in the same location. There's going to be some great moments where you have all three of them probably interact at the same time. Absolutely love that. But yeah, as I was saying, I think that it's one of those that people are naturally curious to see those different things. We want to see what's still to come, everything of that nature. So it's really sort of cool in that way. I also did have somebody comment on my previous video. I got several different comments on it. As I said, the people who are actually working on the game commented on several of my videos and have explained some things to me, and I love that they do that. I am so thankful for them taking the time to comment and stuff. It is absolutely awesome. But they did it, as I said, explained that this is sort of almost a preview of the dual ride that will be going on and stuff here. This, as I had said in the video, is sort of the exit for the ride that is also the merchandise area for the ride. So this will turn into that in the future. And they said in the video, and I want to make very clear, it's in the very distant future that this is going to be going on. And again, that's perfectly fine. But I do thank them for clarifying that for me. Oh, and you can notice over here, I didn't point it out before, you can see sort of the warehouse building that actually houses the ride. Much like many theme parks, you sort of have this front fascia here that looks like a house. You might have this little house over here, but realistically, the actual ride is in this giant warehouse that's sort of hidden from public view. Nice little touch. I also had a comment from somebody else because I had been questioning like why the zombie wasn't popped up in the crypt here and such, and somebody explained to me that that Duel has gone through several versions of that particular ride, and the version that they're going with is one of the earlier versions here in the game. I have to say, it does seem like that several parts of the park they're sort of placing at a specific, if I could talk properly, my apologies, at a specific time period in Alton Towers history. So things like this are very accurate to that time period. So now that we sort of know a little bit about it, let's do the shooting game here a little bit more. I am curious. It still has my high score from the last time. That I absolutely love. I love that it keeps the high score like that. So you could play with your friends and have fun getting different high scores. They did also change some things because these chairs here were supposed to be rocking and they were not in the past. I didn't know it when I played through it the first time, but yeah, that's the thing. Now I will say, I struggle with these shooting games overall, not just here for like this ride and stuff, but just when I'm at the parks and such. My wife actually loves going on these. There's a toilet over there. Very interesting. My wife, as I said, really loves going on these type of rides, like Duel overall and such. I am bad at them twofold. For one, I can never get the shooting down right. I always seem to be off with the laser. But on top of that, I also am always too busy looking at the different things around the room. And so I never really... I forget to even squeeze the trigger at points in time because I'm focused on the animatronics and things of that nature. Alright, I got all three chairs there at the same time. Wanted to get this one to move there so we can see, I believe, yeah, we'll have the chariot here come out. So yeah, I'm going to end it here as far as doing this, but as I said, basically this is sort of almost set up to give you a taste of what is to come with the main ride. I love, as I said, that the scoreboard updates that way and stuff. That is awesome. These are the little touches that they have put into this game that to me really show what a labor of love this game is. Personally, I'm sad that it took me this long to find the game, because without a question, I will say in the future, when I'm voting for like the Game of the Year awards and stuff, this game is going to definitely, I mean, especially this coming year, is without a question going to be on my list of games I'm nominating, because you can tell the labor that's been put into it, how much they have cared, and just, it's a fantastic job that they've done. I am utterly blown away by it. It really is amazing. Oh, we do have some more things over here. So this was the bunker that I was thinking they were going to be talking about here. And there are some phalanx people outside there. So that is a thing. We will go over there here in a little bit. It's closed right now. Are they going to say anything? They are not saying anything here. But I wonder, like I said, I wonder if from the ticket booth, this is where we get teleported to. It is possible. I'm not sure. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to go through this area during the daylight here, see it real fast, see if there's anything that's been changed, updated, anything of that nature. And then after that, we are going to go ahead. Oh, I believe this is the entrance to the sky ride for this area. Yep, that's the sky ride. Wonder what's down here. Never really come down to this area before. That's what I said. We're going to take a look at everything here. Probably it's the functioning portion of the sky ride for the motors and everything of that nature, which is not a bad thing at all. Oh, it looks like this is another entrance to the gardens, I would think. Could be wrong, but it might be another entrance to the gardens, which would explain then, as I said, it sort of felt like it's odd how they constructed this part where there's only one entrance to this area. That might be the solution right there. It might have that circle capability to it. And I have no idea what goes down that way. But I will be interested to find out whenever they do open it. I'm excited for anything and everything that I get in this game. I think that probably shows at this point. But yeah. Got a little walkway down there. So it's one thing I am noticing with Alton Towers, and I don't think... oh, that's sort of neat that you got... So that's basically more cattle pen queue there for the sky ride. Good to know. But I do find it interesting that there are parts of Alton Towers, and I think it probably has to do a lot with the fact that the park is... I mean, originally was this estate in the past. So with that in mind, it wasn't designed for the traffic and the foot traffic of a major theme park and stuff. So some of these walkways are fairly narrow and stuff, but I feel like they're able to get away with it to a point because of the fact that they have the so many of them, and they sort of cross each other and such. I did want to come down here and talk about this slightly. Now that I have sort of more of a reference for things, this is, this is Ripsaw, as we can see there right on the screen. And this is the location of the new ride of the same type, basically, Toxicator. But with Toxicator, I'm not going to go on the ride here this time, but I will talk about it here real fast. We're going to have to go up this way. From the video I saw on Toxicator, the positioning of it is slightly different than Ripsaw. And there's also a significant change in this updated model versus the old-fashioned version that was Ripsaw. So where Ripsaw is sort of... Get through here. And we'll get toward the back here so we can hopefully see a bit better. So Ripsaw, you can see over here, we are sort of facing towards Nemesis. This is Nemesis over in this area, if I'm not being entirely off track. So the ride sort of faces Nemesis. In the new Toxicator version, at least from the video I've seen, I think that the ride runs more this route. So you'd have to look you'd be facing this direction on the ride instead of this direction. Additionally, the seating on Toxicator is where there's seating that also faces the opposite direction. So where all of these are facing straight forward, there are seats on the new Toxicator that face the opposite direction. really sort of a nice addition because you get different views then, you get different experiences. I think that's a great thing. Definitely a cool addition to the park. They commented on it here even with Virtual Towers Online. They had some pictures of the new ride and stuff. Hopefully they got to go ride it because obviously they really do love Alton Towers. And hopefully they had a great time. As I said, I watched Theme Park Worldwide's video on that particular, on the opening of the ride. And he really loved the new ride. Sadly, as I said, he did feel like the park overall was struggling some on the opening day. There were ride closures, and the getting people on and off the rides just did not seem to be going that well. So it was really backed up. These look delicious. You know how I love my donuts. I would so be getting one here. Was sort of curious actually to see if there was prices here because I want to know how much a donut at a park like this cost. Very curious. But yeah, it's sad because I have noticed, even from the United States here, it does seem like Merlin Group... Well, wait a minute as this goes up. But it does seem like the Merlin Group, who owns Alton Towers and several other amusement parks, has been struggling financially lately and sort of has almost lost their magic in how things are supposed to be as far as in the theme park industry. And I think that COVID definitely hurt people quite a bit in the past. I mean, obviously, a lot of us suffered financially back then. And I think that amusement parks are one group that definitely was not unscathed by that. I think that we definitely saw theme parks hurt by what went on with the virus and such. And I feel like that has impacted Merlin. I'm hoping they can turn it around, but right now I will say it's sort of sad news that it really does sound like they are really struggling overall. I don't know if I had just missed it before, but we have the whole shop is here for air now, so take a quick look inside it. It's possible even the shop was here. I just don't remember because there's so many things. Every time I come here, it's like I feel like a kid again, looking at something new. So, trying to cover everything in this video just so we have sort of a basis. So when they do add new things in, we'll know that they're new things and we can talk about it when it comes into the game. This is sort of a neat seating area here right by the ride. But yeah, as I said, I do hope that Merlin Group, I know they've gotten a new CEO, which is really hopeful and hopefully a really good thing for the future of the parks. And I do say parks because it's not just Alton Towers, but they own Legolands, and they own the Sea Life Centers and multiple other theme parks. Now, the only ones I've experienced for Merlin Group is we do have Legoland here in the United States, and we also have some of the Sea Life Centers. And I will say, my wife and I love the Sea Life Center that we go to in San Antonio. That is a loud lift hill. But yeah, we without a question love the Sea Life Center in San Antonio. If you haven't been to one, if you're in the United States, I highly recommend going to it. If you've got younger kids, they're also great because you can do sort of a combo pass with the Legoland that is almost guaranteed to be very close to the Sea Life Center here in the U.S. The Legolands here are not the size of the ones over in the UK. They're fairly small, but there are a couple of little rides to ride on, and then you can like build some Legos and such. And if you've got younger kids, I would highly recommend it. It would be a lot of fun for them. Wonder what's up in that direction. But yeah, the And if you've got older kids, or if you're just a fan of aquariums and stuff, I recommend the Sea Life Centers because they do a great job of having theming in the different aquariums. So where you go to some places and it's just sort of boring aquarium stuff, I mean, not to knock them by any means, but once you've seen a certain amount of fish, it does get a little bit old after a time. I think we can, for the most part, agree on that. Some people who, make their living with fish and stuff probably disagree and are shouting at their TV right now, and I apologize to them. But for most of us, once you've seen a certain amount of fish, it gets a little bit tiresome. You're looking forward to seeing the sharks and the turtles and the whales and all that kind of stuff. But with the Sea Life Center, they will have things like, you'll have the eels segment at the San Antonio one, where the eels are in there with a pirate skeleton that also has a pirate ship wheel to it. So you get to see all of that together, and it's really sort of neat and cool that way. I love that they have that. Looks like you might not enter the ride here. And again, I don't know. They have had scare mazes in here before. This also is, as I said before, a functioning ride. So I don't know if it's because this is a scare maze that we get from the front of the park, or if this is not intended to be a scare maze in the time period they are creating. I'm not sure on that one. But we're going to walk back through the park here as I talk, looking at the different lighting here and such, and seeing if there's any different lighting for sort of this Halloween themed time. And then we'll get back to the front of the park and look through that front with all the Halloween theming before we go on to Scare Mazes finally. I will try to remember for this particular video to put in a timestamp, so for those who want to see the Scare Mazes only, they can jump to that part of the video. But hopefully you've enjoyed overall. I know I've really enjoyed. I love seeing all this stuff. As I said, things like, the fact of the candles in the window here. It's just such an awesome touch. It really makes this game unique and different than any other theme park game I've played, because it's those tiny little details that make it where you feel like you are actually in the park. It's not just a game in that way, but you really get a sense of how the park should feel. And I absolutely adore that about this game. But yeah, with the Sea Life Center, as I said, you get those things with those thematic touches to it, which I highly recommend. It's an awesome experience if you're wanting to go see some sea life and to have a little bit of almost a theme park-esque experience for those of us who live in the USA. And personally, I haven't noticed that those have been impacted really by the financial issues that seem to be going on with Merlin right now. Hopefully we don't see it. I mean, really with those, it's a bit harder because they do need to take care of the sea life and such in their places. So you really can't cut the budget too much to those locations. You've got to have it where the people are there to take care of the animals and such. But as I said, hopefully the new CEO comes in, has some ideas of how to maybe have to cut the budget for right now, but then has plans for the future to get Merlin back up to the standard that it definitely seems like they have been at in the past, just from everything I've seen from different people talking. And hopefully in the future it will be even better. That's my true honest hope. I'm cheering for them in that way. I want to see them be successful because things like, for example, the Wicker Man here are a perfect example of how they can do amazing things, and they have done amazing things. And I want more of that in the future. It's a scary point in time for me right now, personally, because it almost does feel like we could have issues where we might see theme parks and stuff become much less than they are right now. And I, for one, definitely do not want that. This is a part of my childhood. It's a part of my adulthood. I am hopeful to have children of my own in the near future. And I 100% want my children to be able to share my enthusiasm for places like this. And while I absolutely love this game, and I would love for my children in the future to get to play this game, it's not enough. and I don't mean that in any rude way to the people who made this game. They have made something absolutely incredible. But the fact of the matter is, I want my children to be able to go and experience these kind of things. And it scares me because places like this, if they're not taken care of, will fall apart and we will lose them. There have been plenty of... This last year has been sort of a sad one where we have lost a lot of rides, a lot of parks overall. I know that in the UK alone, they have lost a couple different parks over the past year or so. There was one in Wales, I believe, that just closed very recently at Oakwood. And I believe it's in Wales. And again, I apologize if I'm incorrect with that. But Oakwood was definitely an older park. It was definitely not the most modern. Some parts of it you could definitely consider were run down, perhaps. But I don't see an issue with that. There is a place for sort of that classic style of a park. I do wonder if the game bunker wouldn't be a place that a scare maze would be in the real park and stuff. Again, just sort of thinking out loud. But as I said, I mean, Oakwood had its place, and the fact that it's now closed down, you could, at least I could sort of see watching videos on different theme park YouTube channels and such, you could sort of tell that Oakwood was hurting over the last several years. But I don't think any of us really wanted to consider that it might be hurting as much as it evidently was. Alright, so now that we're through that part, what I want to do is I want to teleport to the front entrance, so that way we get the full experience of this entrance in the dark. Very bright up here at this front. Let's see this jack-o'-lantern. Does it light up? Oh, it's got lighting on it, so that's sort of cool. But yeah, as I said, it's one of those, you could somewhat see Oakwood was hurting. There's no doubt about it. But even with knowing that it was hurting, it's still sad that it's now gone. And as I said, it scares me because I see some of that going on with Alton Towers right now. And I don't want that in the future of Alton Towers. I want this park to thrive for years and years to come. And I definitely am cheering for it too. I love that image right there. I love the lighting. I love seeing the Halloween in the background. And the casket on the carriage there. That is just awesome. As I said, I mean, I love Halloween, so all of this makes me so happy, even though we're in March. Alright, enough time on all that stuff. Let's look at what people have come here for. Let's jump into our first scare maze. We're going to go with the Hive.
Move along, please.
How... I wonder if I
Keep
have...
moving and don't touch anything.
I wonder how exactly I enter this. Not exactly sure on this. It might be that I have to go over to the ticket booth. That might be the exact thing. There was some... might be over here.
Keep moving and don't touch anything.
I do apologize for this video having several different jump cuts to it, but I felt it was necessary because of what occurs with the scare mazes and such to sort of put this in at this point. If you have any issues with flashing lights and loud noises, you may not want to watch either of these scare mazes, particularly if you have an issue with flashing lights, but also if you have an issue with loud noises. There are a few places in the Hive where there are some very loud noises, and I can say in this ride that we are about to experience here, there are loud noises in a lot of it. So, as I said, if that is something that you're not okay with, then I apologize, but it might not be best for you to watch the remainder of this video. In either case, though, I hope that you have enjoyed what I did do in the video, and that you will like, subscribe, and be back for more videos in the future. Alright, we've seen this before. You saw me going up to the Hive ride, or the Hive Scare Maze. I am going to have the video footage of that Scare Maze, but it is going to be later in this video. It's not that I'm trying to tease you at all. There is just something with that particular Scare Maze where I feel like it is the appropriate thing to end this episode on, and I'm not going to ruin that for you at all at this point. Trust me, you will want to see that at the end of the video. I'm sure the other Scare Mazes, judging from what I went through in the Hive, are going to be absolutely awesome, but yeah, that's the end of the video right there. And you will not see it in the thumbnail for the video. I have a feeling I'm going to use the carriage and the Halloween sign in my thumbnail, because I really do like those. But yeah, what you will see over there is significant. It's awesome. Really cool. But for now, let's go to this other maze and see what happens. Hey, I was right. Alright, so we've sort of got this unique version of the... So we've got this unique version of the Games Bunker. Cool. I do love also here, I want to point this out, and I did point it out also with the other ride. Oh, look at that. We've got sort of a super soldier. I don't know if he's supposed to be phalanx or not. But I did point it out with the other ride as well. Sort of, I love the fact that, yes, we have this haunted house or scare maze, depending on where you're from. But I love the fact that you can sort of see the way a park actually does it. So this is very accurate here. At a point, you would sort of have probably not fencing all the way around. They'd allow people to travel through, but they would open up this cattle pen queuing here that would be for people specifically going on this ride. And it is possible in some parks, and I believe Alton Towers is one of them, you do have to pay for the scare mazes separately, so it's possible you'd be able to pay right there. I don't know. My guess is generally with these, you would go ahead and pay at the front when you came in, and you get a wristband that denoted that you were allowed to go on this specific ride. So as I said, the other scare maze, absolutely amazing, blew my mind. Let's see how this one is, because I am really, really impressed with what they're doing here in this game. Probably should have left my car keys off the ride. My apologies. Ooh. Alright, what do we have here?
Welcome to the Smiler facility. You're here to be corrected. Am I correct? Okay. Now, look to your left. Look to your right. Those are cryopods, where you will start your journey. Here at the Smiler facility, when the lights go green, please enter your pod and wait for further instructions.
Alright. I am going to be quiet whenever they're talking and such. Alright, I did want to point out, I loved how you could see through the little gap here at the back of it. That is so realistic, and it's one of the things I'm loving about this game is they're making a scary experience, but they're making it very realistic. If you were building a scare maze like this, you would have those little things like that gap.
What are you doing?
And we have scare actors. That's sort of creepy. right. Oh, this is sort of a mind warp here. I will say, so far, difference between this ride and the other one, that's really sort of impressive. This one, like the detail, like the different scares and such, like the giant needles with the air power and stuff, are not as detailed as you see on the Hive one. That is the newer of the two scare mazes. But this one has scare actors in it, which is just awesome. That was interesting there. I don't know if it points those air hoses come on and scare people, or if it's just sort of meant to make you think that it will. I love this type of thing here because you can really see how a theme park tries to make a scare maze on a budget. All they needed was some cloth here to cover the walls and the floor. It looks creepy, but it's very inexpensive. Really awesome. Yeah, I was expecting one of them to possibly move. I love the fact that they've got the animations and stuff here and here. Absolutely awesome. Definitely makes it creepy. Sort of a traditional phalanx person there. I must have missed him earlier. My apology for that. Let's go back through real fast and see if he says anything. Well, actually, let's see. We might not be able to go forward this way. We might have to actually turn around here. I love that you can see, like, the coaster in the background and such. It's that nice little feature here. And I actually cannot move any faster. I have to actually go this speed. So if you're wondering, it's like, yeah, no, I can't actually move faster than this. This is the speed at which I am allowed to go in this area, which is fine by me. I am okay with that. Don't know if I'm supposed to be over here or not, but very cool to see his suit from the backside. I'm gonna go around front, see if he does or says anything. Beginning to rain a little bit here, so probably want to get through this area and back inside if we can fairly quickly. Oh, actually, I think we're at the end of the ride here. That's cool. Nope, he doesn't say anything. All right. All right, so that's that ride overall. Now we can move faster again. Let's go back to the office, and then I will give you my thoughts here. Oh, you know what? I do have it turned to live, I think, as far as the weather. Oh, no, it was on random. My apologies there. We'll fix that. Ooh, it is a very overcast day at Alton Towers, evidently. Looks like it did rain at a point. I don't know if that's just because I had it raining in the game, or if it just is raining, or it had rained earlier today at Alton Towers. I sort of love this feature where you've got the rain there. So, want to give my thoughts overall. Get another cool screenshot here. Let's turn it to nighttime. Again, gonna do the ugly tourist thing. Oh, can't even get up there. Alright. Well, I have to say, those scare mazes are absolutely amazing. I love the fact, it was a bit hard to talk in the second one because the music is quite loud in it. But the thing I love that they have done in the game is that they added in those details that make it actually look like a scare maze. And by that I mean, like the little gap in the door. You would want that to be perfect if it was at all possible. You wouldn't want to see that gap where you can see the light through it. You wouldn't want to be able to see hoses that didn't, that were part of the necessary thing so that the ride would function and such. But you will see those in a scare maze. You will see those in the real world because you can't make them perfect. It just doesn't happen. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing that that occurs. I love that they added those little details, though, of how things are not perfect into the game because it adds to that realism overall. Now, as I said, the two scare mazes are very, very different. The one actually has scare actors to it, which really points to me of what they could do in the future here with some different things. Like I was saying earlier in the video about NPCs there with the water battle and such. It is possible they could do stuff like that because they do have sort of motion in some of their human figures. So that is a possibility we'll have to see in the future for the game. But you had that in the first ride there at the Games Bunker. And then the other one, the Hive. As I said, I'm not going to spoil what you're going to see in that here in a little bit. But it was a very different kind of ride overall, or a different scare maze style. And they both worked in their own ways. They were both did make me feel that feeling of fear and terror at being in a scare maze. I will say quite honestly, and maybe it's just that maybe UK scare mazes are better than we have in the United States, but it actually scared me more than the ones I've gone to in the United States as of late. Haven't gotten to go to Universal Studios, so I don't know how Fright Nights are. Hopefully they would be fantastic. But the ones I've been to, half the time I spend sort of studying the makeup and stuff like that of the characters and not being scared by them. In here, I was scared at points in time, particularly with the scare maze you haven't seen yet. And that is a really, really cool feature. As I said, I don't know if it's just UK scare mazes are better and more scary, or if it's that they did a fantastic job in-game of making it scary. But either way, kudos to the creators of this game. This was an awesome addition. I am so grateful to have played it. I would love to know from somebody from the creation team or whoever, is this something that like in the future is just going to be where I can go onto my tablet and switch it on kind of thing? I would love that as an option. So when I wanted to, I could have it be this way. Or is it something that, you know, will occur in-game at certain times of the year, say for Halloween and such? I would love to hear about that, because I'd love to know and be able to share with viewers in the future the answer to that. Now, as I said, this is sort of the end of the video for me, but it is not the end of the video for you guys, because it is now time for you guys to experience what I already have in the Hive. So, I hope that you will enjoy.
Testing, we have you on our comms. Assault operative, you are to enter the Phalanx facility known as the Hive to find information and the whereabouts of the Nemesis creature. We have been receiving strange magnetic fields that are being scanned by our systems. It is your mission to get as much information from the Hive as possible. We believe there are documents related to a project known as Nemesis Reborn, and we need all the evidence we can gather. Once and only once you have the documents, we will pick you up from the designated rendezvous security and into the lift. But please only go to level 2. That's level 2. This is where we believe the Nemesis archives are being stored. Don't worry, we'll be with you the whole time via comms.
This is awesome. For one, I mean, I was commenting earlier on the fountain and the water and stuff. Look at the rain and the realism of it. It really does feel like it's hitting you in the face. I love the detail here. There will be points whenever he's talking and stuff, I'm not going to talk. I want to experience this as it's supposed to be. Do I actually have to find documents here? I mean, this is an interesting thing. I don't know exactly. I guess we'll find out.
Welcome back to the Hive. Head on up the walkway to enter the facility. Be aware there's been plenty of construction going on since you were last here, Sergeant Bertain.
Alright. Now I am walking instead of the faster pace because I don't really want to miss anything if I can help it. I don't know if I can just go back in this as many times as I want or what exactly, so I'm sort of treating it as a one and done type of thing simply because I don't know. Without a question, if I can come back in here, you might not see it on video, but I will be back. Now, I do wonder, and maybe somebody can answer in the comments, is the rain and stuff just because it would be raining sometimes in the UK, so they sort of went with that? Or is like the lightning in the background and the rain actually part of the ride? Like, I'm not sure on that. Definitely some dark areas. That is impressive to have a whole helicopter there. Oh. I mean, some of this stuff, I can see where it's like things that they might have around the park. I'm thinking about it from setting up a theme park type of way. And it's cool how they would definitely have some of this stuff around the park. But some of it, like a helicopter, they would have to bring in for this or create as far as theming. Really, really cool. Now you do see like the papers down at the bottom there. Hopefully I haven't missed any, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they're going to stand out. I don't know if it's a thing.
Alright, we're in. There's the lift. Scan the credentials we have given you and head to level 2.
Alright, that door doesn't work. I mean, I know what he told me, and I'm sure, like, on a walkthrough and stuff, you would have to do exactly the thing. Since this is a game, though, I'm going to take my time and look at everything and see if I can, Oh, that's neat. But yeah, I'm going to check everything out here and sort of see how it goes. I didn't get to press a button. Hopefully I'm going to level 2. So as I said, this did come out a few days ago where people could play it.
You've gone too far. This is not safe. We are losing signal, and we don't know how deep you have gone.
Yeah, had a feeling this would be the case. I mean, it is the way it is with sort of Scaremazes. But as I was saying, I do apologize for it taking me a few days to cover this. I just sort of had an idea that this video was going to be fairly long, and I didn't want to try to cram it in on a morning after I got off of work. So I wanted to wait till my weekend here so I could really enjoy here during the nighttime and just enjoy playing through this, seeing how it is.
If you can hear us, check whatever is down there for information, documents, anything.
I see a piece of paper over there. How do I get in there? The sound here is incredible too. I absolutely love this. Very realistic feeling. I'm slightly nervous actually because it's like there could definitely be jump scares here. I'm like sort of doing first person shooter type of thing of scanning around corners as best I can. Wishing I had a gun. That's a body bag. Alright, I got a paper. Glowing rock? Yeah, looks like glowing rocks. Could be wrong. Don't know if I could read the paper. Doesn't look like I can. But that is what I'm looking for, evidently, is the papers. As I said, I'm going to take this nice and slow. Much slower than you would be able to probably in a scare maze or a haunted house type attraction. Didn't know if this was a wall or not. Just the design on it looked like it might be able to move, so pressed against it there. For those that are wondering what the heck I'm doing. But yeah, like I said, I'm taking my time much more than you'd be able to in this type of a location because I can. And trying my best not to miss anything because I really don't want to.
Come in! We have managed to get our signal working. There is another life form being scanned down there with you. Be careful!
Okay. I mean, I have to say... Alright, got another paper. Yeah. Like, this is really confusing my brain some. That's where I'm sort of having trouble even articulating what I'm thinking. Because of the fact that, like, if this was... I'm sort of feeling like I'm in a video game. In the fact that if this was a scare maze, I would know I'm safe. Nothing's going to kill me and stuff. But because... Okay. Not gonna lie, actually proud of myself that I did not scream.
That was a massive magnetic spike on our systems. It seems you have found the Nemesis creature. Keep going and dig deeper and see what you can find.
Yeah, as I said, I'm actually proud of myself that I did not scream there. That jump scared the hell out of me there. Great job. But yeah, as I said, this is sort of confusing my brain because if this was a scare maze, I'd expect it to be exactly as it is, which it is. But because it's in a video game still too, I am fearful that I'm doing the wrong things and I'm going to be murdered. Because in a video game, I could be. So yeah, my brain's sort of going back and forth on this stuff. And I'm also like looking at all the little details, like the fouling symbol on the floor there, all that kind of stuff. You can see where like some of the setup for a scare maze like this is just probably they had this piping laying around from a coaster or even a bathroom or something like that. And it's like, hey, let's throw that here. It'll add to the detail work some. Here we have a sign from Nemesis, obviously. Works out great here. Fits the theming. But as I said, I'm so torn in so many ways. Because for one, yes, it's a video game. Yes, it is a scare maze. And I'm also trying to achieve the goal. I'm trying to achieve the goal of getting all of the documents. I don't want to miss these. Nemesis exit only. Disabled riders wait here until attended by a crew member. That's sort of cool. These are, I'm assuming, old cars from the Nemesis, which is very cool. As I said, I would almost wonder if this ride wouldn't be in that bunker I sort of pointed out, where we did have the Phalanx people over near Nemesis. That's the way I would think this would be. But perhaps this ride was actually set up toward the entrance here, and there would be a different scare maze set up in the in that area in the back there. Again, something I'm not very familiar with. We got a Forbidden Valley sign. As I said, I love these type of things in the game, in the scare maze here and such, because it adds to the realism of the game they created. Because this is the exact type of thing that in a theme park would do, where it's like, hey, we have this old sign, we don't really need the sign right now, So let's go ahead and put it in our scare maze. It'll add to the detailing and stuff. It'll work out fine. It adds to the story, quote unquote. And then we also have a security camera right here. So you know that there's people somewhere watching to make sure people are properly moving through the scare maze. That's really cool detail of how like something like this would work. Nice little jump scare there as well. We got a pallet and some dumpsters. Again, what does that have to do with Nemesis? Nothing. But are these things that they would have around the theme park? Without a question. They'd have some empty pallets. They'd have a pallet jack. They'd have possibly some old dumpsters. Throw them in here, give that sort of grungy feel to the whole thing. I wonder with the papers, is that something that actually happened on the ride? Or is that something forbidden truckers? I think this was another scare maze in the past at the or no, is this the little car game that they have down near Nemesis, the little truck game? It's possible that that's the case too. Not exactly sure. Could be both for all I know. But as I was saying, I do wonder, are the papers something that's real? Is that something that actually went on? Oh wow, we've got a truck there, or a bus. Hard to make out what it says on it. Something cloud, and it sort of looks like an atomic bomb blast, which is really disturbing and awesome at the same time. But were these papers something that was really on this scare maze, where you had to go around and collect them?
It seems you have all the documentation that you can obtain down here. Let's head to the lift and go up to level 2, where we told you to go in the first place.
I'm getting lectured by the guy for something that wasn't my fault. I love it. I really love it. But yeah, I mean, I love the way this looks. The elevators probably are completely fictitious, but I do wonder, again, is this part of the bunker area over by Nemesis? Because there are lifts in that area as well for that ride. Ooh. Nemesis archive retrieval, very cool. Love these little details. Absolutely love them. Yeah, I mean, if somebody knows, let me know in the comments. Did you actually... So a way of showing movement here through the screen. Very cool. But yeah, on the ride, did you actually have to gather documents? Was that a thing? What did the documents say? I mean, did they say anything, or were they just sort of papers with the phalanx symbol on them? Oh wow, you can hear some kind of creature. So, very curious and scared of what might be coming. Again, this is mind-blowing to me as to how this is. Okay, flashing light. I do apologize to those who are not okay with that. But, again, we have another reuse sign here. And I do apologize for people who are not thrilled with me talking through the ride. But I am trying to point out things that I'm noticing to you guys. As I said, this is a free-to-play game. You can download it yourself on Steam. And so if you're wanting to experience this on your own without my voiceover, definitely feel free to. But I sort of feel like if you're tuned into my channel here, you're sort of wanting to hear my opinion on it. And as somebody who loves horror, Nemesis, be warned, this is the world's most intense ride experience. Be absolutely sure you want to ride before joining this queue. Very cool. I have to say, I mean, they don't have any scare actors in here, and I'm actually grateful for that, because otherwise you may hear me actually scream. Just the theming, the flashing lights, the mist and stuff is enough by itself that it is really creating a terrifying atmosphere. I'm loving it. Now, I love this too. I just want to point this out. We got the water where you can see it on the side here. My guess is we are just above the water when we walk over here, but it's probably like a plastic type of, or like a spongy type of floor, so you feel like you're walking in water. It's a really neat trick. Actually, no, well, I mean, it might be water, or it might just be lighting that they use to make it seem like water. Either way, though, really neat tricks that they are doing in the ride, if this is actually occurring in the ride. And if not, really great job by the people who made the game of making this scare maze absolutely terrifying. What is this? As I said, yeah, I understand they want me to interact.
Seek the truth. Seek
Whoa.
the truth. Seek 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 the truth. Nemesis has feelings too. Seek the truth. Seek
Nemesis has feelings too. Everything is under control. What in the world? Alright, now I cannot imagine that this is in the ride. I'm assuming they had to just make this for the game. I wish I could walk out that way because I want to see behind this building some. Okay. Well, we can see behind the building. Oh my word. I cannot move backwards. I can only move forwards towards the onrushing swarm. Alright. Yeah, see, I can move back slightly, but then I can't move back any further. Oh, good lord. This is insane. Okay, I did not expect that at all. That might be the coolest announcement trailer for an update to the game I have, to an update to any game I have ever seen. So they are going to do Nemesis Reborn in the game. Now again, will they do that as like an event for a short time? Will they do that where you can change in between the old version of Nemesis and the new version? Now I want to go rewrite Nemesis a few more times before it changes in game. I have questions and I am so excited. That is the coolest thing. I honestly think that might be the coolest thing I've ever experienced in a video game. Yes, alright, that was not exactly a scare maze in the traditional sense because of the fact that that end scene. is just for a video game. You could not do that in a scare maze. I don't think Universal Studios, putting their entire budget for Horror Nights behind it, could do what we saw at the end of that section in a video game. But that was absolutely amazing. Oh my god. I absolutely loved it. And I am happy to say I was right. This was like I have a feeling the earlier parts of the scare maze, like the parts inside the building, I think maybe the helicopter and stuff was also done for the video game. But I could be wrong. Perhaps the papers were done for the video game. Could be wrong. But I think that the interior part was a scare maze at a point in time. Probably had a different ending, obviously, than what we had. But yeah, this is where it would have been housed, is in here. And I do want to go down and see Nemesis now to see, just on the off chance, is it actually changed in the game here then? Because if it is, without a question, we're riding it. But if it's not, then we know that it is coming to the game in the future. Alright, now I can move faster again. I'm startled some. That actually did startle me. Alright, so this is the traditional Nemesis. You can tell because of the fact of the white track. The Nemesis Reborn has a black and red track to it. It's mostly a black track with some red veining that goes along it. Wow. Like I said, I am actually... I was shaken by that. That was absolutely amazing. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and click that like button. If you've not already, please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon so that you're aware when I produce new videos in the future. Thank you, and I hope to see you all back for more Virtual Towers Online.